Let's take a moment and talk about one of Superman's most iconic but often overlooked superpowers, his ice breath. Whether you call it his ice breath or freezing breath or frost breath, it doesn't matter. It's one of his most unique and diverse attacks that he has in his repertoire. So today I'm going to show you the level and utility of usage for the frost breath, the different ways in which you can attack with it, as well as the range of the frost breath. Let's just get down to it. Starting things off, Superman 172, while fighting in Parallax, we see Superman use his heat vision and frost breath at the same time. There are 3 takeaways from this feat. First, we can see that he can utilize his frost breath as a almost concentrated beam-like attack, rather than the traditional gale force wind that we see him use it as. Second, we can use this to measure the speed at which the attack comes out. We know for a fact that Superman's heat vision is a light-based attack and attacks at light speed. The frost breath is coming out at the same speed as the heat vision, so it's at least relative to the light speed-based attack of the heat vision. Lastly, we know that Superman's heat vision is not only able to contest with absolute zero, but overwhelm absolute zero as a temperature for ice-based attacks. Here we see his ice breath and his heat vision attack coinciding with each other, which means that the ice breath has to at least be, if not colder than absolute zero, if that's even possible. In the next page, we see Superman speed blitzing and utilizing various different attacks being in multiple places at once. One of which attacks is his ice breath, which, if he's utilizing at those speeds, should at least be a light-based attack, which harkens over to Superman 620. This is the issue with the cannibal planet, a giant planet that, eats other planets and stars and whatnot. Now, a lot of people are thinking I'm going to talk about how Superman flew into the planet and gave it an over giant-sized brain freeze, which is pretty damn impressive. He covered at least third of a planet worth of area with his frost breath. But that's not what I'm talking about. If we look at the page beforehand, where Superman is traveling to the cannibal planet, we see that Superman is moving at speeds that bend space and time around him just from his sheer velocity. As stated verbatim, space bends around him at this velocity. Time slows down. Superman continues these speeds into the cannibal planet and launches his frost breath at those speeds. In Action Comics number 29, we find out that Superman's frost breath can actually freeze people that are phasing. The principal notion of this is while people are phasing, at least on a scientific level, they are leaving particles of themselves still in the atmosphere, which allows Superman to freeze it with his frost breath. It is unclear if this works on people that are phasing or are non-corporeal via magic or supernatural means, but at least with science-based phasing, such as something the Flash or Martian Manhunter would do, Superman can still hit them with his frost breath. Superman Unchained, issue number 2. Superman, within 3 seconds, is able to create a whirlpool and freeze it to stop this building from falling. This demonstrates the level of which he can freeze things, as well as the speed. Superman, issue number 19. Again, incredibly quickly, Superman is able to freeze this city and throw it into space. Oh my Atlanta. Superman, issue number 29. This feat is pretty impressive. These 2 children right here are both being possessed by Parallax, the fear entity. Superman's frost breath is able to freeze one of the hosts of Parallax solid. He actually needs the assistance from the other possessed host in order to get out of the frost breath. Superman versus Darkseid. This is another instance of Superman utilizing his frost breath in different ways, rather than using the gale force wind that traditionally freezes things, or utilizing the beam-based attack that we saw previously. He is launching ice pellets or ice bullets at Darkseid. And we'll wrap things up with Superman issue 153. In this issue, we see Superman use his frost breath on his hands. Now, the art is a little unclear. As we can see here with his rear hand, it looks as though his fist is frozen with the block of ice, while in his front hand, it looks as though he's freezing a block of ice and then grabbing it. Regardless, when he attacks, it freezes his target. So as you can see, Superman's Frost Breath has a lot of diversity to what it can do. Whether it comes out in Gale Force Wind as an ice beam, or whether it comes out in ice shards or pellets, whether he utilizes them as almost knuckle physical attacks, and we also the speed of which he can do it. Whether it be a light-based speed attack or whether it be able to freeze up an entire lake in just 3 seconds. Superman's Frost Breath is broken. Sadly, it's not utilized as much as, say, his heat vision, but still, it's a powerful weapon in his resume.